In essence, the Roland JX-3P is a 2-oscillator per voice 80s synthesizer, but that doesn't tell the whole story, so here it is. Released in 1983, the JX-3P, where the 3 Ps mean programmable preset polyphonic, were initially being developed as a synth to be controlled by pitch to CV, and specifically by the guitar, hence the 6-note polyphony. As Roland were unable to get this setup prepared in time, the synth was released anyway, in a more conventional layout. As with the Juno series, it employs the same interval timer DCO technology, which uses the Roland IR3109 low-pass filter, a discrete VCA, and an onboard stereo chorus effect. The JX-3P has a single ADSR envelope generator and a single modulation oscillator, both software generated, while the Juno 6 and Juno 60 use analog circuitry for the envelope generator. The JX-3P has 2 distinct DCOs, with detuning and several cross-modulation modes, as opposed to the single DCO with a sub-oscillator designed for the Juno line. Also, unlike the Juno, the JX-3P allows the pitch of either oscillator to be controlled by its envelope generator and LFO. Juno features lacking in the JX-3P include the portamento and second chorus mode. With an initial price of $1,395, the JX-3P was aimed at a new audience that the Yamaha DX7 had created, namely that of the fans of sleek, no-knobs aesthetics, although you could purchase a controller, the PG200, if you still wanted this one knob per function control. The styling is unmistakably 80s, although the menu diving might not be to everyone's taste, it does leave the synth looking distinctive and uncluttered. There's no arpeggiator, but there's a 16-step sequencer that works very well. The filters in the JX-3P are the famous 24 dB IR3109 filters found in the Juno and the mighty Jupiter 6 and 8, but the architecture of its implementation is quite different from the Juno, explaining some of the differences in sound when compared against each other. Some say the JX-3P is noisier, and when considering it has a more simplified filter circuit, this is no real surprise. It has to be noted that the implementation of the filter in the JX-3P is different from that in the Jupiter and Juno series. There is no Q compensation of self-oscillation, and the resonance is controlled by 2 transistors rather than a VCA. Full resonance is set quite low in volume, which is noticeable when compared with the Juno range. Although if you want to change it, then you can by adjusting the resonance of the PCB trimmers to provide a high signal level from the filter, or you can just leave it and keep its own personality. The PG200 connects the synthesizer through a proprietary interface and provides hardware sliders dedicated to most JX-3P parameters for editing patches. It's not possible to use the PG200 and MIDI interface at the same time, however. The PG200 programmer also serves to edit the patches for the Roland GR700 guitar synthesizer, which shares the same voice architecture and sound engine as the JX-3P. The JX-3P is famous for strings and pad sounds, with its unique metallic sheen amongst many other sounds. I think the main reason why it wasn't as popular as the Juno series, despite its extra oscillator, was probably down to the lack of onboard knobs. But with the PG200, it really holds its own, and it's easy to get great sounds out of it. The upside of this is you can pick them up much cheaper than the Juno series, and get yourself a real 80s analog synth that will keep you busy creating incredible patches while looking great.